Dr. Matthew Sweet is a cultural historian and presenter of Free Thinking on BBC Radio 4. Matthew's here with us. For people who haven't seen these broader theories that have been shared in the last few days, just explain how Larry Ellison, digital ID and everything else fits into them.
Join the dots, you mean, Ros? Join the dots between all these little
if you would.
Strange points and fragments. But out there in the ecosystem of the new media, weirder things happen. And it's very well established in conspiracy culture that the digital ID is a kind of Trojan horse for a kind of digital cage that the shadowy forces that really control these people are trying to institute. It's all wrapped up with conspiracy theories of 15-minute cities, this idea that somehow a digital ID would stop us leaving our houses at a certain time or buying certain things. Now, this all exists out there in the wacky world.
What I'm looking for with regards to, you were mentioning joining the dots. Well, you join the dots in terms of this subject matter, but help us join the dots with regards to the media, how we see information moving from one place on the internet to another place on the media to another place. How do we document that, given how fluid and ethereal the internet
very
can
fluid be? And it's very fragmented, and there are figures involved in this, journalists or kind of pseudo-journalistic figures who flit between these and might appear in the regulated space, might be sitting on home on their YouTube channels or with their podcasts. And so the ecology is so mixed that there's an awful lot of traffic between the really far out spaces, the David Icke kind of world, and spaces we would consider much more respectable that actually come under the Ofcom umbrella. And these ideas, they move around and they discuss and become talking points, some very weird and exotic things.
You sometimes engage with people who are sharing theories which are not always entirely based in available evidence, shall we say. How do you find that experience, particularly as someone who the people you're engaging with will know works for big
absolutely
media organisations such
I know,
as BBC?
It's tricky, isn't it? It's because inevitably you become part of the conspiracy. I mean, I interviewed a writer called Naomi Wolf on the BBC's Free Thinking, who's I spotted an error in her work. She has now become a fully fledged conspiracy theorist and goes on Steve Bannon's War Room to tell the world that Bill Gates paid me to do that. So I think any of us who work for the BBC can get wrapped up inside this narrative. This narrative can consume anything and anyone. And so, when you try and engage with these people, I think,
Do you regret engaging?
No, I don't. No, I think it's important work. I think we're on the front line of this, Ros.
Well, I'm asking you the questions. I'm not sure about we, but in terms of what you're doing,
the BBC is on the front line of this. This is about the border between fantasy and reality and the policing of that border. You and I are both engaged in that work. If I engage with these people online, I think it's been shown, statistically, actually, but through studies, that mockery is often quite a good way to deal with it. But actually, I think at the individual level, when you are talking to people about what they're reading and the ideas that they're getting hold of, I don't think that is a good idea. You have to kind of question where they're getting this information from.